Welcome to Simon NoChaNoMa, Simon's Living Room. That was my slightly souped up and changed introduction with some funky music instead of the rock and roll. Welcome. My guest is in the wings, and that's an appropriate term because my guest, as you all probably know, it's Chuck the Magpie, but she has recently completed and successfully completed a course in stage and costume design. So without further ado, entering from stage right, it's Chuck the Magpie. Hello, Chuck.
Hello.
All the way from Hong Kong.
Yes. Hi.
So,
Finally.
Chuck, how are you? Have you had a busy day?
It's okay. Typhoon is coming to Hong Kong, so.
What? Oh, right. I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize either. My friends told me that.
Oh heck! So at a certain point, if you start wobbling, we know that your tower block you're in is being hit by a typhoon. Okay. Right. I'm going to start playing my background music, and people in the audience, you tell me if it's disturbing or not. Right. Tomo is here. Hi, Tomo. Alas is here. Peppo is here. Dibble is here.
Hello.
Can you see comments, Chuck?
No. I can see. Finally, I can see.
Right.
I'm very happy
Brilliant.
about it.
Cool. Well, those of you in the audience who know Chuck sometimes comes in the comments with you to watch the show, and now she's on the other side of the camera. She has been on this show before, haven't you? You've been on the show before,
yeah.
But largely in the capacity and wearing a wig.
Like I was active as a translator or something.
Yes, you were either acting as a translator, or you were wearing your wig and being your singer character. Well, you are a singer, but it was playing a character. But hi, not much. Hi, cool people. Yes, all cool people here.
Hello. Hi, cool people.
But this is the first time that you've actually been exclusively on the show. I think I said that in the advert that before you've been on as a translator or as or in your band. There was one time, long time ago, right back at the beginning when we first met, when you were on the show on my old show. Remember Three Old Dudes?
Secret meeting in 2015.
2015, yes. Secret Meeting of the Rude Mechanicals was the name of the show. But and yes, so anybody who is interested in a piece of YouTube history, I want to see what it was all about. Go and look at that on the Three Old Dudes channel. Secret Meeting of the Rude Mechanicals for Chuck's first appearance. But Chuck you're mostly known as a singer. That's how that's how I met you anyway.
That's right.
What I would like to know is something I've not really found out before is how did you become a singer? What are the roots and the origins of your singing career?
It was kind of natural for me to start singing because, in fact, my parents used to do music. They're no longer doing it professionally, but then my mom was a singer. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's a good question. Was your mum likely to be watching at the moment?
Could be.
Hello, Chuck's mum, just in case.
Hi.
So yes, your mother was a singer. So you kind of in your household there was always music going on, kind of thing, and this is what influenced you, presumably.
That's right. My mom was, when I was a kid, she already quit doing it professionally, but then my dad was also in a band. And at that point, both of them are going into kind of like art industry more than music industry. So, they're not doing it professionally, but in my home, there are like piano, guitar, bass, shamisen,
All right.
and other Japanese traditional instruments, and some weird food from different part of the world, or this kind of thing. So that was kind of natural to
So
start
as a
learning
child,
music.
you sort of you had all these like toys, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Shamisen. Can you play shamisen just as a matter of an interest?
Only a little bit. My dad was playing shamisen like a guitar, but yeah. So I kind of love playing it, but then I can't really do it well.
Mm.
Mm.
And at what point sort of did you decide I'm going to do this? I want to do this to be a singer, to actually sort of make something of it. Did you just like evolve naturally, or did you sort of decide I'm going to do it now?
It was kind of natural, you know. Also, when I think about my dad, he's a designer and architect, and then also he's doing music in a kind of semi-professional way, and it was kind of natural for me to do both. So that is like how I kind of like ended up in this way.
All right.
Mm.
And can you remember sort of what was your first stage appearance? Can you remember that?
Stage appearance.
Your first public, let's say your first public appearance as a singer. When did you
As
first
a
sort of like?
singer. That's very difficult to say because in high school I already started to sing in public, but then it was not in a professional way. But then, so when I think about like singing in front of people, probably it's in high school.
Oh right, yes. So you were getting used to an audience and being in public eye at that, you know, at even a high school age. Yeah.
But then, like as you know, I'm very very shy. I mean, as a person, I'm super shy. You know that, right?
Yes.
So it's very different when I perform and then like I'm.
So this is where the character part comes in, presumably, like for the creation of Chuck and Charlie, and so that you can theatrically you can almost like go behind a mask and be the character.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, this is what I did with my sunglasses and top hat as well. I mean.
Oh, is that so?
Yes. I mean, generally, I don't do this kind of thing in public.
Then you're not shy. You're not shy guy.
Not behind this. I mean, I don't know whether I could do this in at a public speaking event or something like that.
I'm sure you can.
I mean, I've been on stage at school. You know, you were kind of forced by your teachers to go on stage. You know, you must. But you know, I wouldn't voluntarily do it. So, but
really?
yes, yeah. I don't think so. I mean. Audience, do not try and persuade me to do but
I also loved how you recited a story the other day.
Oh, the Kamishibai thing. Yes. Yes. Oh, there's yes, I enjoyed doing that, so that may reoccur.
Good.
So when you after sort of high school, I mean, when did you start to think, right, I need to do this, you know, I need to go into a studio, I need to sort of, did you sort of go home and practice, or did you actually sort of sit, like, was it just like a hobby, or when did it switch from being something you enjoyed doing purely for the enjoyment of it to something that you thought, I could do something with this, you know, I want to do something with this?
That's also very difficult.
after university.
You know, the thing is that like I can't really do anything else. Like these things are the only things I can do. So.
I don't know. I did say in my introduction in the advert that or in the spiel that you do have a PhD in Shakespeare and Renaissance theatre. So I mean, you know, that is something. It's not nothing. It's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, that must have been quite a difference. I mean, so at a certain point, your studies sort of took precedence over singing. Like, so you say singing, it's something you always do, but I mean, obviously at a certain point, your interest in Shakespeare and Renaissance theatre and so on took priority over singing. Or did you sort of in your spare time while studying also go out and perform?
You mean like how I manage these, like researching and studying and also
going out singing? Yes, yeah.
Again, like to me, it's really quite a similar thing. Because to me, everything is designing. When it comes to music, obviously, like we will be designing things in an audio way, and when it comes to set and question design, we obviously like visually design something. And when we design something, we need to research, right, the topic or like some background and so on. So that's how I started to research and read stuff. So it came from necessity, in fact. It's not that like I loved to do many different things. Like things really evolved from the necessity and then natural.
Yeah, so you like started doing something and then went down a rabbit hole kind of thing, and yeah. Zen Himawari, I recognize Zen Himawari. Hello, Zen Himawari from Showroom audience. Hello, nice to see you. Yes, this is how this is the only way I can see Chuck now, Zen. I have to get her on my show. I have to explain to the audience that don't know that you do a live stream on a Japanese app called Showroom Live. Some of you may have heard of it, and that's, I think, the first time that I saw Chuck live was on there. And up until very recently, I was still able to watch it, but now for some reason it's blocked in Europe, unless you have a VPN, says Zen. But Zen here in the comments, he's one of the loyal viewers on Showroom app. Yeah, so you were able to balance studying and your musical interests.
Yeah.
So after studying, and you'd got your PhD, and you were sort of doing whatever you do with a PhD. What do you do with a PhD? I mean, I know, but you can tell the audience.
You mean like what do I do with that, or what?
Yes, I mean you assisting professors with research and all that business. You know.
Yeah, and also I'm teaching right now at a university, and I don't know, like.
Well, I remember you telling me that for example, you were assisting professors with like I think it was with the history of Taiwan or something like that, and a research paper on that. Yeah, so doing that kind of thing, because it interests me that you were able to combine this, because I met you in Tokyo while you were doing a gig back in 2015, but that was, you had already started. Had you already started your course for theatre and costume design at that point?
At that time, I guess so. I think so. Yeah.
2015. Yeah. So you were kind of like commuting between Tokyo and Hong Kong already back then. Yeah. So it's just lucky that I happened to sort of be in Tokyo at that time. Yeah.
I was lucky.
Alas is asking, what do you teach? Well, that was going to be the second part of the show, but we can quickly say what you teach at the moment. Maths, I think it is. Yes. What do you teach actually, Chuck?
I teach actually many different things. For instance, the day before yesterday, I taught costume history kind of thing, like period costumes and how women presented themselves, etc., etc. And also, when I think about Tuesday, I was teaching mathematics.
Yes, I saw your tweet, and it's like, today I'm a maths professor. There was like all these algebra questions in a photo. I thought, oh dear. Yeah.
But in fact, like I say it as a joke that I'm teaching mathematics, but then it's in fact like mathematics in art. So I only teach like how to calculate these like art related formulas and
Like
stuff.
yes, the golden rule and all that business. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not like I have to do all these,
yes.
scientific things.
Yes. How much paint powder do I need to add to what volume of water?
Oh, but then we need to do that because we
Yes.
also have to create a sculpture and stuff like that.
Yes. What is the
And
drying time of plaster of Paris? Calculate. Hello, Cobrat. Cobrat, who is wide awake even in the very early hours of California time. So that's.
Hello, Cobra. Hi.
So yeah, well, we diverged there. That's what you teach, but so you were like shuttling backwards and forwards between Tokyo and Hong Kong already back then. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, it's like you say, it's going down a rabbit hole and following. You pick up one interest and it leads to another. Is that basically how you went from having done a PhD in theatre and Renaissance theatre and Shakespeare studies? Is that how you sort of went on? I want to now be a stage and costume designer. Was that sort of something that sort of grabbed your interest, or? It obviously did, but I mean, how did that come about? Is what I'm trying to say.
It also like I was really tracking. I mean, digging up my interests more and more and more and more, and when I realized I was properly researching, and I was also thinking about like how to use my research in a more practical way, and then in fact those designing certain costume designing that I was also interested in was really convenient for me to use it as a kind of output in a way, and I enjoyed very, very much. So
yes, I can remember from back at that time you were doing a lot of photo shoots with sort of quite sort of lots of art direction going on in the background, and you were wearing your costumes.
Actually, Zen was one of the great photographers. I was.
Oh, Zen was a photographer. Oh, right.
Yeah,
oh,
he's an
cool.
artist too.
So some of those photographs from back then are possibly from him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, unfortunately, I didn't have them queued up. I should have had some of the photographs queued up, and we could have seen. and Zen could have commented, "That's mine." But yes, because they were quite artistic. Because you have produced CDs, and I think your first CD was your first CD just called Chuck the Magpie, or was it the one to do with the Shakespeare gibberish?
I think the first one was called something like Johannes Factotum.
Johannes Factotum, yeah. But that was Shakespeare related with, and you composed the songs yourself, didn't you?
Yeah.
And they were all like based on Shakespearean themes. I seem to remember.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that is not all the kind of music. I mean, I have some music. I'm going to knock this music off here. That's driving me balmy. You can't hear it, but I've got it going there. But just for the audience's sake, I did have queued up. Unfortunately, I don't have your any of your. I've got one of you singing a cover song. I hope it's all right, and I hope it'll. I have to transfer it to this. There's you look. I don't know whether they'll. I'm going to set it playing, but I don't know whether anybody will be able to hear it. If there's nobody is able to hear, can you hear anything? I can hear it, but if you can't hear it, then you may have to sing.
I can hear slightly.
Can anybody hear that? Could you hear it, Chuck? Because I've got so many things open here. So I don't know whether, but
I
that's
hear it really a bit.
tiny bit. Oh, it's probably because it's coming through my headphones. Unfortunately, yes. I don't have that queued up. Sorry, audience, but if you want to hear how Chuck sounds, if you haven't already heard her singing, go to well, this one is from one of your YouTube channels, your
That's
Charlie
right.
Shikazaki and Sogo Akiyoshi channel.
That's right.
Yes, this is that's Chuck's and her composer's channel on YouTube. So if you, I should really put that in the description. I shall type it in comments, or perhaps you could type. Can you? Are you able to type in comments, Chuck? Is that possible?
I don't have the box to.
You
And
don't
also,
have-
like,
ah,
I'm really afraid of like typing
Press the
in
wrong button.
something and then
Okay.
boom.
Okay, I shall type your name, Shikazaki, and so if you guys type this into YouTube, you'll come across their channel and her music. And Shogo Akiyoshi is her composer. I don't know. Is he still your composer?
Sort of. Like, it's yeah. We're like, sometimes he helped me, sometimes I help him. Something
You
like
still
that.
you still do the sometimes the Vocaloid things. Is that with him?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, because that's another string to your bow. I mean, not just your own compositions. I mean, this was also what I was trying to show was you do covers as well. You did anime song covers. This wasn't an anime. This was just a regular song cover, and also Vocaloid. And as a singer, also, this is how you also earn money from this. Yeah, it's not just a hobby. I know. And you're still engaged with that. You're still doing that.
That's right. And also, actually, recently we started. I probably haven't told you yet. We actually started to run a company to compose music and produce.
Oh, right, you've started a company. Yeah, and putting tenders out for people who require music, including lyrics. Presumably, you're also have to provide the lyrics. Oh, right, so highly creative in that sense. So that's when you get home from work. you've got to sort of carry on and do more composing. All right. And speaking of work, because obviously we now know what you do. You teach, but also you studied costume and theatre design. And I shall now switch my background to the more appropriate background, because this is my living room. Where am I? Excuse me. This should be sort of like a drone shot above you. Yeah. We're in Hong Kong now, and you're there studying, or you went there for 4 years to study theatre and costume design. And you also presumably now, or will be in the immediate future, as I remember you telling me, that you will be doing designs and for stage and for even television. So those are projects that are going to be coming up that you will have to work on. So that's what you're doing at the moment, as well as teaching. So this is your new direction, as it were.
Yeah.
But one of the things. All right, Meedible says composers, singers never turn off. They're always thinking about music.
Right.
So,
thank you, Cobra.
Yes, your channel trailer. So what I thought would be interesting, what we talked about before, was for the audience to know what is involved in in the work of a costume and set designer. Now, I was looking up before, so all the stages and that a person has to go through. And you also teach this presumably to your students. You'll be teaching them the process of doing this. So what we've come up with, perhaps you could announce it. I'm now taking on the role of a student of Chuck's.
No, you're a professional costume
well, no, just for the purpose. For the purposes. So, so what would be the first stage in first you would get a commission. For example, you would get a commission from a production company saying we're doing this piece, we're doing this for the purposes of this demonstration. It's a dance piece. I shall tell the audience. So could you sort of give us a little bit of background on the dance piece and what you require of me?
Yeah. So like we did a kind of like role playing thing, right, Simon? Mm-hmm. And then like as a choreographer, I asked Simon to design certain costume for my dance piece related to Chinese Korean dance, which is a very traditional sort of dance, but then we are modifying it into a very modern way.
So yes, so basically the theme of what Chuck is requiring is that there's a dance production, and the dance production is based on the Korean community in China. And I think what was the theme was like energy and sort of ink or art. Something to do with that. That was the theme that was presented to me as a design student, and this is what would be presented to would have been presented to Chuck when she was studying. The director comes up with an idea and asks all the various people, and I have here. Analysis. The first step is an analysis of the script. It says the musical composition of the choreography, and the parameters must be established. I looked this all up, And so what we did, it was I then went away and looked very carefully on YouTube at traditional Korean dancing in China to get an idea of what I'd let myself in for, really. Also, you have to sort of do research to get background research on the theme. And I eventually came up with something. I shall transfer to that now, and Chuck will I shall go through it with Chuck and you, the audience, and we can see. Basically, this is what the designer would come up with. They would come up with first. They would talk to everybody, and then do their research, and then come up with an idea. And this was my idea. If I can, I don't know how I could do that. Can I do it like that? No, that's too small. No, like that. No, what's going on? I've lost everybody. Perhaps if I do it like that, there. So let's go to here. So what we've got here, if I zoom in. And then I can move it a bit.
We did really professional process.
Yes, we. Is it not zooming in? Right. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so I can move it a little bit now. I thought I could. So I came up with a rough sketch. So these are sort of the dancers on the stage. Perhaps if I do it like that. You'll get a better. Yes, these are the dancers on the stage, and this is the stage. And the stage is actually based on a theatre that Chuck is familiar with, where associated with her work. So I used that as the basis, and then came up with design. So my designs were I took the idea of that it was supposed to be about Korean dancers in China, and I looked at what Korean dancers wore, and they wore this thing called the hanbok, which is a traditional Korean dress. And I did see the traditional dances, and they danced in that dress. And it looked. They said in the descriptions that it was quite easy to dance in, but it looked quite cumbersome to me. So I thought perhaps that there would be another way to do it. If I can go here. So I came up with designs for the costume. Now there we go. So we've got the costume. There's the traditional sort of hanbok in the top left there. Oh, hang on. Go back to the hanbok and stay at the hanbok. So, in designing a costume like this, I thought perhaps the idea was energy and ink. But the thing with the hanbok costume, you couldn't see the dancers' movements. All the subtle movements. So I thought perhaps the hanbok could be made in some way transparent. But then I think you were discussing this with me, Chuck, that that presents quite a few difficulties with reference to the choice of materials. So you have to think about the choice of materials. I just done pictures saying, "Oh, make it transparent," but what would be? I mean, what would be your critical assessment of this? So if I was coming to you with this, and how would you sort of say, oh no, you need to think of, what do I need to think of?
As we discussed a few days ago, it's a great idea. It's just like we need to be very careful about fabric choice. So we went through what kind of fabric we'd like to use for the transparent costume, right? And I think I haven't heard which fabric you would go for. Have you?
Oh, the material.
Yeah.
I don't think the audience has heard of that particular material, but there's a particular material that I mean, there were two kinds of material. There was a material that would be quite soft and loose, so that the actual form of the traditional hanbok would not be kept so much, but would flow better with the dancer. Or there was one that would keep the appearance more of the shape more, because it was a stiffer material, wasn't it? But also that material could be quite delicate, so that so any sort of energetic dancing in it could destroy the costume.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, all these considerations. I mean, part of the design process is not just like coming up with pictures to visualize how it is, but you have to think of all the other parameters, such as the durability of the materials, how the materials move. So this is something that you learned when you were studying? I mean, when you were doing this kind of thing, did you have to sort of present, sketches and ideas to your tutors like this?
Mm-hmm. And even now, like as a professional, we do it too.
It's part. It's the sort of standard process.
Yeah, and as Alas said, you did homework really well, and I really think that you can bring this to a professional situation. Really.
Oh yeah, so 50 quid and it's yours. There we go. But I mean, yes, from this stage, would it need to be worked up even further? So I did my original sketch for it. Sort of, I'd seen all these dancers in hanbok, so I did a quick sketch of what a hanbok would look like, and certain traditional dances, sort of almost shamanistic dances, had these. If I freeze on that one, you can see the dancer has got kind of strange looking sort of extended sleeves that go beyond the hands, and these are moved quite rhythmically in the shamanistic dances. So I had that, and this was my original idea for how the sort of the transparent costume would look, so you could see the dancer underneath and all their movements. But again, there's practical things, so But yes, so you would come up with this, but then you would have to sort of talk, like you say, you would have to talk to all people involved, not just the people who are going to make this, but also the lighting people, and
Maybe
the
you can show them your ground plan, so it's easier to understand why you have to fight with lighting designers.
all right, we have to. Yeah, apparently you have to fight with all. It's a boxing match. Hang on, what have we got here? I have to move it. Yes, there we go. This is actually looking down. This is a ground plan of the theatre where Chuck works. Stay. Where Chuck works, and so I used that as a. I have to move myself down here. There we go. And I went fairly simple because I was doing it on my knee on the settee. This picture, and I thought I'd do a basic stage design because it's for a dance, so I didn't want to sort of clutter it up too much. It's not for example, if you were doing this for a theatre production, there would be much more involved. There would be much more elements in the set, movable elements, and but this was for me. This was quite easy. It was just some side curtains, as you see there, 3 side curtains on each side. And at the back, there'll be a curved screen. Now, I had 2 options: either a hanging curved screen, soft, or a fixed one that could be moved. And that would all depend, apparently, on this space behind the curved screen. You said there was something sort of like that. That space is needed, so you have to take that into consideration. You have to fight with the people who are in that back area for, and these little things are projectors, and apparently there are rails above here, obviously for the curtains to come down and things to move, and these are where you hang your lights. So you've got to sort of fight with the lighting people. If you want projectors, they can say you can have this rail and that rail. So all these elements have to be taken into consideration. It was complicated. I'll tell you.
Right.
But yes, so I mean, this would be kind of like you would come with this, and then you would talk to the lighting people, the set decorators, and so on, and the director, and you'd come up with these ideas, and then after thrashing it out with them, you would have to go away and come back with revised ideas, presumably.
Yeah.
So, is there a deadline? I mean, sort of when you get presented with a project, do they?
We usually have 2 very important days. One is a primary design meeting, and the other one is final design meeting. So for these 2 days, we have to present something really solid. But then otherwise, before primary meeting and before final design meeting, we would have weekly creative meetings. So during creative meetings, we would share something a little bit more rough than what you presented. And then, towards primary design meeting, we would probably make something like exactly what you did.
But would you also make? I mean, I was looking at sort of like what's involved in it, and I've also seen on your Twitter when you were at college that you also made models of the set. So you'd have to make a model at some point too, and just a 3-dimensional model to present. You would present that at the meeting as well, presumably.
Yeah, they like it.
Yes, it's much more sort of direct visual. They can see. Yes, that's going to be a problem. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I didn't have the time.
Especially when it comes to longer performance like plays and musicals and plays and stuff. Like a director really needs this set model. Because they can play with the little guys and then try to play inside.
This is so you can play what you can if you like dolls' houses. You go and be a theatre director. I mean, did you? Was that something you really enjoy? We probably still do and do it. So it's something you enjoy. Which aspect of all of this do you enjoy the most? The research, the designing, the model building, or the fighting?
I actually love every aspect because, for instance, when I'm researching, I will find out more things. But then, like when I fight with a lighting designer, he or she will have a better idea probably. And then maybe thanks to his or her lighting, my set would be even better. So by fighting with each other, we kind of create something that we couldn't really never reach.
So it's I mean it's out of I don't know, conflict, phoenix rises from the ashes sort of thing.
Yeah, like for instance, the director I worked with in a previous production. You remember, I worked for Antigone, and this director told me the reason why we collaborate together is to create something more than, he said, if I quote his exact word, he said,
Yeah.
more than me, more than you.
Oh, right. So yes, it's beyond. Yes, like what do you say? Sort of, it's bigger than both of us, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to that stage, but then if they say, "Yeah, that's great, do it," then you've got to go away. Presumably, I mean, you've made the model, you've done the designs, but you're personally not responsible for the physical creation of the set. You can assist, but you delegate that presumably to teams that will build it for you and construct it for you. Is that how it works? I mean, and also with the costumes. I mean, I've seen you in photos, sort of pinning costumes on your dummy there in the background.
Oh yeah, because that was some kind of like organic part. I mean, like I wanted to have like some organic, some creature-looking thing on the back of the clean Greek-style dress. So
yeah.
it was difficult to explain. So like I was pinning it before I pass it to
I think
respectable dress.
Yes, but I mean, you I'll have a look, see if I've got those photographs somewhere. No, I don't have them. I couldn't find them. No, I know there were photographs meaning they were on your Twitter of like the sort of like the physical things on the back of the yes. But I mean, apart from that, you would then go into the seamstress and say, "This is what I want," and you would discuss with the seamstress the sort of the materials, and so on. But
sometimes they know better than I do. I mean, most of the time actually. And then these elder people in a team would say that like, "Oh, this can't work out, so you have to change this and that." Yeah.
So yes, I'm thinking of the deadline again. Sort of, oh no, I have to go back, burn the candle, and at midnight, and more research. Yeah. So I mean, these things are then done by. But you to what extent do you supervise, or do you just sort of like leave it to it and then come back a little bit later and see how they're getting on, or do you sort of poke your nose in and say no?
But there usually I work with very experienced costume makers, and then they know really well. I mean, they're very professional. Also, when I work with scenic artists as a set designer, they are really amazing. Like they are true artists as well. So I enjoy the process. I mean, like they're also trying to make things more than what I designed. So
you'll take your original idea and sort of like build it up and boost it almost kind of like that. Add something from themselves, as it were.
Yeah, so like for instance, like I really love working with a cynic artist called Angel, and Angel always talked to me how she should interpret my design before she work on her own artistic direction. So we could be on the same page before she starts anything. So.
Cobrat's asking, do you find many directors have the similar or different ideas to you? I presume to you. Did you find that your ideas coincide, or I think you were saying before, sort of, sometimes new ideas come out of conflict, so perhaps they don't have similar ideas.
You mean the approach to a piece, or like I think, when it comes to ideas and views, it's also depending on the styles of the director. And also when it comes to approach to us, some directors kind of try to accept whatever we say, but some of them would ask us to do something. So it's very different.
Yes, it depends on each director individually, sort of.
Yeah, the scary thing to work on is a devising theater.
Is it what?
Devising theater. It's called a devising theater, and a director tends to change a direction every day, and we have to prepare a device every day for them if I can.
Oh, good grief!
I love it, but it's tiring.
I was going to say, yes. You go away one day, and you come up with an idea, and then the next day you have to go up with another idea. And in that respect, I mean, I was looking up at theatre and television costume design, and it also perhaps applies to set design as well. That there's quite different considerations, because you have done sets for television, haven't you, or film when you were studying there? That's right. So that's also something you do, but it's quite a different approach that I've read up on, certainly for the costumes. The costumes, the costumes on film and television production have to be sort of absolutely sort of spot on. You have to see all the details have to be correct because of close-ups and all that kind of thing. Whereas you could be a bit more flamboyant and loose, and also more practical with the theatre costume, because obviously, like with this dance thing, they've got to be able to sort of withstand a full season, because my show is going to be very good and it'll last a full season. They've got to dance in all these costumes night after night, so that it's got to be durable. So So I mean, these are all. Which do you prefer to do, or do you like both kind of things? The ones for theatre or ones for television? Which presents the most sort of challenges, or which do you find sort of the most sort of fun to do?
I love doing both, but I prefer theatre because we have to think harder to. I mean, like, we have to think hard for both cases, but then when it comes to theater, for instance, we also have to think about how to make costumes. For instance, like for film production, a dress is a dress, and then an actress has the time to change a dress, right? But then if it's a theater show, she might not have a time to change a dress.
Yeah, it's an ongoing during the performance.
Yeah. So we have to think about the structure of a dress, and which is quite different from what we wear. So there are lots of these kind of challenges in theater. So I kind of enjoy that. Also, there are so many people in the team. I mean, film is really interesting, inspiring. But I wouldn't collaborate as much as I do in theater with other people.
Yeah, so you, in film or television, you would come up with the design. That would be it. You would take it to the makers, and they would make it up. And all that would be the main consideration would be whether it was detailed enough or whether it met the requirements for the production. But whereas with the theatre, like you say, you've got a bigger
Everybody is
team.
at the table, and then they say something. So it's a fight, but I really love the environment.
So have you? I mean, have you got anything that's happening at the moment, sort of that, or is that still to come?
Soon one dance show is coming up. I guess it's starting in November. The process. I mean, for a theater show, we take 3 months or something in Hong Kong. But then for this show, we would have probably 5 months or so. So.
Oh, the whole production taking. I mean, in terms of getting it prepared, it takes 5 months to get it ready. Wow.
For so this one. Mm-hmm. Usually it's 3 months in Hong Kong.
Oh, right. So sometime in 2022, your work will be on stage.
Yeah.
Wow. And is it just one? I mean, it sounds like a lot of work in its own right, but whilst that is going on, is that all that you're sort of like? Is it all that you do then, or do you get other commissions coming in? Do you have like lots of things going on at once, or is it you just stick to one production?
In fact, when I was doing freelance, when I was still a student, I tended to do lots of things at the same time. But then I'm trying to take it easy right now.
Yeah, from the sound of it, yeah, like hectic, quite hectic, you know. Yeah. So now you can sort of spend 5 months doing the one production and get thoroughly into it, but not stress out.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So I'm going to sort of let's assume that all my designs were approved, and my costume. I did have one more costume design. Where was it? If I go back here, there's the theatre thing. There was that one, and then I found something on the internet, and I sort of made it slightly more realistic.
Oh.
So that's the sort of like the transparent costume over the black leotard thing. But then what did I do? Where is it? If I go here, is it this one? No, it's total darkness. Hang on, what's gone wrong there? No, it's where is it? I've lost it. Oh, that's why I have to go here. Sorry, there's so many things I have to click on. There we go. There's the theatre that you may.
Can I play music?
Yes. Play your music. Yes, if you go to share screen.
Let's try. Maybe I can just
go share screen, and then you have to sort of, when it asks you there's a little box you have to tick saying share audio.
Or is it already playing or not?
No, not. You have to share screen, and then you have to add it to the Is it working? Oh, what did I do there?
It's super scary.
On the StreamYard thing, you have share. If you click on that. Right. I can add that now. Add to the stream. There we go.
Okay. Oh, you can't play the video, but then.
Oh, I can't play it. Oh, can you play it?
We can't. We can't play the video. But we can play the sound.
The soundtrack. Okay. Let's see. Does that add audio? If you start playing it, it might be coming. Is it playing now? Can you hear it? I can't hear any music.
Then let's forget about it.
It's a shame. Hi, Robert. Did I draw what? Did I draw? I didn't draw that lady in. I drew this was the fake dress around her like ballet outfit. Yes, but I didn't draw the lady, and then I sort of used a Photoshop to multiply the images of the ballerinas or the dancers, and that was my idea for the background. Hang on, if I just do this for you can see there, sort of with the
Wow.
yeah. So this is the actual theatre that near where Chuck works and where the sort of productions go on. So I thought I'd use that as the background. Hello, Dean.
Did you Photoshop?
Yeah, sort of like a free type Photoshop program I used.
Wow.
I spent yesterday doing that. No, Thursday I was doing that. Yeah. So yes, that was a bit. There would be dancing with these images projected in the background. So that's what it would look like, more or less, if it were ever to sort of see the light of day. Unfortunately, we don't have the music to go with it. I mean, I did look up Korean music. It's quite unusual.
Wow. Nice.
So yes, you've got this production coming up, but will you still be doing? Now you're living in Hong Kong, and obviously because of the COVID thing, going backwards and forwards from there to Tokyo is not so simple anymore. So will there be any potential gigs for ChucktheMagpie in Tokyo
I really hope I can organize something soon, but then, yeah, obviously, as you said, because of the COVID-19 situation, we can't really travel freely. Yeah,
you have to do it online.
Maybe
an online concert or something. Yeah. I mean, do you still in touch with the IMS band members? I mean, do things still happen in that respect? I mean, for those in the audience, IMS is Imaginary Machete Swinger, which is with Chuck's band, or is Chuck's band, or is on hold at the moment, I think.
Yeah, but we talk a lot. Yeah.
What is the name of the production we to look out for with your work in it? If we looked online, would we be able to find it? Has it already been announced what it's going to be?
I don't know the name yet too.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Dibble says Korean music is better than jazz, Simon Nurchan. Okay. So yes, if we would discover it, if Chuck discovers the name, she'll obviously be in comments here now and again, and we can ask her. Do you know yet? Do you know yet? And then you can all go fly to Hong Kong and watch.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be good. Yes, I mean, I met you in Japan, and I kept hoping to meet you again in Japan each time I went. But you're always at Hong Kong when I went. So yeah, that's why I was asking whether you'd ever come back. See, because the next time I go to Japan, we'll have to coordinate.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Or you come to Europe and do a tour. Yeah. Yeah, because you did that once before, didn't you? I remember.
Right.
Yeah, with the band.
Yeah, IMS had a European tour.
You were actually in Belgium as well. I remember. Didn't you go to Belgium?
Oh,
or was it?
Yeah, we transferred at the Belgian airport.
Oh, right, you didn't actually stay. You didn't actually play. No. Well, there we have it. I mean, that, ladies and gentlemen, you have now learnt how to be a costume and stage designer. So if you ever feel like a change of career, it needs a lot of study. 4 years.
You learned it after 1 week or 2 weeks.
Or you can do it on the sofa in an afternoon.
Drinking a glass of wine.
Drinking a glass of this is essential when you're designing transparent costumes. So we've come to the end of the show. I'd quite like to carry on and perhaps we'll do it after everybody else is gone. But I'd very much like to thank Chuck for joining us.
Thank you so
much. And I hope you had a good time, and the audience too. When is Chuck the Magpie going to teach you to sing? Teach us to sing.
Simon, do you want to learn singing?
Does the audience want to have the rest of their day destroyed? I don't know. We Chuck, if you look on Three Old Dudes channel, and I can't remember which show it was. I don't know whether it was with the meeting of the Rude Mechanicals. Did we sing on that one? No, I think we just interviewed you on that one.
I guess
But there was
so.
there was a show where we did some singing, and Bernie from Singapore was also there. She sang. Do you remember? Yes. So if you look on the Three Old Dudes channel, I did sing at one point on there. But yes, teaching. Yes, I would need to be taught properly. Yes.
Yes, let's do it.
Say yes, Simon, says Alas. No. Yeah, that could be a future show. So, Chuck teaching singing with Chuck. Ooh. First get a microphone that doesn't fall down. Yes, there we go. So, everybody, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us on the show. I hope you had a good time. And next week on the, I have no idea what's happening next week, but the week after, certain person in the audience and three others who are not here, one who was temporarily, will be once again the guests on the show, and that is the Mod Squad. So not next week, but the week after, the Mod Squad. That's Cobrat, Nancy, Night Rider's gal, and Mindy's mom. They will be back on the show again. So looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we'd like to say thank you for joining, and goodbye for now, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.